Plays the current Doctor Who on the BBC. Please give a great icon welcome for Sylvester McCoy!
Something I said? Hi, how you doing? Gosh, you're up there as well. Right, don't jump. There's a lot of you, aren't there? How did you get out here? Miles away from anywhere, isn't it? You've invented the car, yes, we haven't written, we've heard that vaguely. Right. Well, there's a man with his hand up over there. Are you exercising your fingers or do you want to ask me a question? There's a man here with a very happy question, the very first one, which is there any truth to the rumour that Sophie and I will no longer be, what did you say, playing with our parts or doing our parts, yes, something to do with our parts. Well, I've no idea really. The BBC, in its wisdom, has decided that it's going to either do Doctor Who or not do Doctor Who, and they'll make their minds up. The BBC is a vast organisation. It's like the British establishment. It's like our government. It's very secretive. So you never find out what's going on until it's done. I rely on the man that cleans the toilets on the 6th floor where the executive suites are. He always tells us what's happening with things, but he's on holiday at the moment, so I've no idea. I can't answer that question very well. Sorry about that. Yes?
I have heard that Hanna-Barbera has bought the rights.
Ah, there's a person up there who's heard that Anna Barbera, whoever she is, has bought the rights. Anna Barbera. It's a great name, isn't it, Anna Barbera? Hello, Anna. Well, rumour has it that she's after it. I don't know whether she'll get it or not. Again, it's all rumour. And I have no idea what's happening with Doctor Who in the future. Sadly, I can't get in the TARDIS and find out. This kid is having a refit. But, pardon? So, you're having a refit? Oh, you got a TARDIS? Where is it? Is it? I hope you've got a ticket for it. Hi. Any other questions? Yes. How am I playing it? In English? Scottish English, Irish English. Ah, well, they want to, yes, how now, when I took over the role, can you hear up at the back the questions down here? You can, got you, good hearing. Could you come down and translate for me? I'm really joking. Well, when I went along for the job, they sat down for 2 hours talking to John Nathan Turner, and I just gave him a load of bull. I just didn't know, I just rabbited on about how I thought Doctor Who should be played, having no idea really how Doctor Who should be played. But when I got there, mainly they just said that the part required an actor who's a bit of a character, you know, let that character take over. So there are many different types of actors, chameleon type of actors, you know, people who are very shy, but once they put on the costume and the lines, and then they create a character. Whereas there are other people who are a bit more outgoing, unlike me, a shy little man like me. And, you know, that's the kind of guys that get the job in Doctor Who. Does that answer your question? Vaguely. I've only just arrived in from London, England, on an aeroplane, and my brain's somewhere half across the Atlantic. Something that hit me in the back of the head. Oh, folks arrived. 6 hours behind. Yes? Yeah. Yes, the early use of the malapropisms. Well, yes, that did disappear, and I think that it was mainly because maybe the writers couldn't work out any more. They ran out of them. I quite like them, but I kept wanting to keep the odd one in. But there were so many things to try and remember while you're doing Doctor Who. You really need someone to run along and say, you've forgotten to do a mouth visit this month, or, you know, you need your teeth, you know, seen to by the dentist next month. All those things kind of get lost bit by bit, sadly. But I mean, I would imagine if we carry on doing it every now and again, we might go back to it. It's quite fun, trying to work them out. Good games. Yes?
The script got a lot more serious as your tenure progressed.
Yes.
It's a lot more serious than 25. And I was wondering, do you like that? Do you like it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, they did get more serious. That was my part of my idea, and the script editor and I saw eye to eye. That's 3 eyes. We're both 4 eyes because we both wear glasses. But anyway, he and I saw very much, you know, the same way that the route should go. And as I say, when I got the job at Doctor Who, I really didn't know basically what I was going to do with it, because I hadn't seen it for years, and because in Britain we only ever see it once, and if we're lucky we might get a repeat, and then that's it. And I had memories of it when I used to watch it, and therefore when I got the role, it was only when I started working on it I suddenly thought, no, I know how it should be done now. Do you know what I mean? And so, but that took a long time. It's like turning the QE2 around in the Atlantic. You've got to plan it a bit. You can't just do it like that. You know, you've got to go, so that's how it took rather a long time. And I wanted to bring back the mystery, the danger, and also the feeling of this man. I don't think we got that yet, which was he'd been travelling for thousands of years, in a sense a lonely traveller. You know, a bit like, you know, the kind of mythological travellers of old, who also carries all that sadness and loneliness and things like that. I wanted to bring more of that back. How's severe the copyright laws surrounding Doctor Who?
For example, if you wanted to write a short story pertaining specifically to Doctor Who,
Yeah.
you would obviously have to ask for permission, I suppose.
Well, yes. I mean, people do write short stories. You know, to get it published, you'd have to ask permission. You're allowed to write whatever you like, but until you publish it, then the long arm of the law might give a few dollars, maybe. But if you write to the BBC, I mean, lots of people do write stories, novels, send them to the BBC, and they read them, and then they decide what to do with them. It's a big. They keep the central heating going. Lots of them. Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting to look up there. People with up there.
The only other piece of work I've seen you do is your The Secret Policeman's Under Ball. Can you tell us some other work that you've done?
Yes, there's a gentleman who saw me in the Secret Policeman's at the ball, and he's still talking to me. What other work have I done? I've done quite a lot, really. I've done lots of, in Britain, we do lots of theatre as well. You know, we're very lucky in the sense that we can do theatre, films, and television, and bounce about, and radio as well, radio plays. We have a great tradition of radio plays. I just finished doing one 2 days ago. But, so I've done lots of that, lots of theatre, lots of Shakespeare, lots of Beckett, and various different modern classics and old classics, new plays. In television terms, I've done a lot of television, but there was a lot of it was generally for children's television, like series after series for the last 14 years before I got Doctor Who. Many television programs that didn't come across the Atlantic. I've done the odd film. I was in Dracula with Frank Langella and Laurence Olivier. I was a little worried one, standing behind Laurence Olivier, waiting for him to fall over. I wasn't quite sure what I was doing in that. I played a villain in 3 Cans of Heat, which was it's been shown over here, I think. It's on video, and it has 3 Cans of Heat. Have you not seen it? You must flash out. I think I can shoot everybody. It's great fun. Playing a villain, it's good fun. Lots of things. The one that I'm really proudest of that you might have seen was The Last Place on Earth, which is about Scott and Allison's race for the Antarctic. And I played a little Scotsman who actually walked all the way there and back, completely. And it was great fun doing that because we went to the Arctic to film it. And it was just like the adventure. In fact, I enjoyed it so much. If someone had said, do you want to go, you know, on an expedition to the South Pole, I would have gone. And those 2 ladies leaving me pushed.
Get back to the earlier question. I've
Well, yes, hopefully it is heading in a... It's to make him much more mysterious to the audience. It was felt that over the last 26 years, too much has been exposed of the Doctor's background. And that makes it too easy for writers who said, you know, he went to university and they invent all sorts of things. And so that defines him more and loses the mystery. Now the original Doctor, William Hartnell, when he arrived, he was a complete mysterious character. And so the idea is to try and create that again. And also, it's like if you meet him, you don't know whether in fact he is a good man. I mean, you've been 27 years, you've been told, you know, basically. But it's also been nice to drop hints that perhaps there's something darker there. Perhaps there isn't. Do you know what I mean? Just to make that mystery. Just to bring back the mystery of the character. So you're never comfortable with him. Or really, you know, can feel, you know, I know what he's going to do. Do you know what I mean? Thank you very much. My agent. Yes, yes. Hints of perhaps. And also, you see, in order to create, because so much has been given away about him on Gallifrey, they're now trying to hint, perhaps, there was something before Gallifrey, another area of mystery. Just say, wait a minute, you thought you knew the guy. Now look, there's all this. And also it gives the writers much, you know, many other areas to, you know, go into. To, you know, it's like a rebirth in a sense, trying to, you know, give a rebirth. 27 years is a long time. Of what?
25 years of accumulated history of the Doctor.
Well, no, it's part of, I mean, that's part of it. The 25 years is part of his history, but we're adding another part, you know. It takes you quite a long time to get to know some people sometimes. People from Gallifrey, it takes about 26 yees. Yes?
Is that the idea of the battlefield between Merlin and
Yes, exactly. Merlin was brought in, and there was a question mark. Was he Merlin? Was he part of, or is he part of this mysterious, these people that keep popping up in history and mythology? Or was he one of, is he? You know, because he travels about all over the place. There's no reason why he couldn't have popped up there then. You know, it's just, but it's to add the mystery, just to make you question and wonder all the time, rather than say, I know the Doctor, I know what he is, there he is. And I was saying, no, you don't. There's this other bit. He left the note for himself. Wasn't he daft? He didn't get it quick enough. Or did he? Are you just showing me your umbrella, or do you want to ask a question? It's a nice umbrella. Nice umbrella, ladies and gentlemen. Nice pullover.
Have Einstein in his console and looking over the console and say, don't worry about it, let's play it later.
Yes, that was nice. I wanted to call him by his first name, but they wouldn't allow me. My brain's gone. Hello, Star Tours. The past Doctor Who Junior said there were Time Lords and you wonder if I'm a Time Lord. Well, yes, he is a Time Lord, but he might have been the founder of the Time Lords. The mystery that we're trying to hint. That he might be more than, he might have been the creator amongst three of them, of the Time Lords.
Yes, is there any Doctor which you've used as a model for your Doctor? Any previous...
Sorry, I can't quite hear you very well.
Is there any previous actor who played the Doctor that you used as a role model for your...
Any other Doctor I used as a role model? Well, yes, anyway, I suppose in a way, I think when you come to Doctor Who, it's your first Doctor tends to be the one you're hooked on, you always remember. And the one for me was Patrick Troughton. He was the first one I ever saw. I became a great fan of the programme there. And I loved John Pertwee afterwards and Tom Baker. I didn't see Colin or Peter Davison because by then I'd started working as an actor and we didn't have VCRs and you couldn't take things, so I missed that era of Doctor Who. But I had them in the back of my mind. And when I got it, I kept thinking I must try and remember these people. I've also tried to bring back what I think are bits of William Hartnell. But there are bits, you know, just you know when you're reading the script, sometimes you think, oh, that sounds like Patrick Troughton might do this, or John Pertwee might have done that, you know, or Tom Baker, or Colin. You know, I try and keep that vaguely in the back of my conscious or subconscious, and you know, it might pop out. Yes.
I saw Sophie Aldred at a recent convention you said that the BBC had dropped Doctor Who.
Oh, there you are. Sorry, I was pointing at the man at the back. I thought, he's brilliant. He's saying this, and he hasn't even opened his mouth yet. I was going to say, you should come up here and do this. It's a good eye. Sorry, there you are. Yes, beg your pardon.
Sophie Aldred said that the BBC had dropped Doctor Who, and that in order to be renewed, it would have to be picked up by one of the private television stations. But has that happened?
No. I really am the last to know what's happening with Doctor Who. But from what I've heard, rumour has it that they were going to do that. They were going to get rid of it and say, because the government has said the BBC must buy in 25% of its programmes from independent producers. That's a new law. So they said, right, what should we do? We'd rather make new programmes. So they came up with this wheeze. What we'll do is we'll get the producers to make the old programmes, then we can go on making new programmes. That's why they started to do that. But then, I think, what's happened is that so many people were interested. That lovely lady, Hannah Barber, or whatever her name is, she came along, and various other people. And then they suddenly went, oh, wait a minute, this is far too big. And maybe someone else at the BBC said, because it's a vast organisation, you know, it's like the government. No one knows what's happening. The left hand doesn't know the right hand. And then the other one said, you can't do that. This is a money-making thing. You can't give it away or do this. So it seems to be, what I've heard is that they're now sitting back and trying to figure out what to do, whether to make it themselves again or not. You know, so it's still in the hands of the lap of the gods.
But you'll definitely be back.
It will definitely be back. Well, I was told this by the guy in charge of series and drama at the BBC that it will definitely be back, whether it's made by an independent or whether it's made by the BBC. Now the question then is, will I be back, or Sophie, or both of us, or one or other? That again is, in a sense, up in the air, because I don't know the answer to that. Because I can well understand a new producer coming in saying, I want to make my Doctor Who, and I know I have my image of him, and so they must likely get someone else to do it. But I mean, that's easy, you know. I'm an actor, it's part of the job, changing jobs all the time. So if that happens,
thank you.
I'll be delighted to have been part of it, and one of the great joys has been able to come up to America and answer lots of questions. No one up there, right? I'm coming down to you. Yeah. Yes, well, when I took over, it was a bit odd, really. A bit odd to take over from Colin. The only good thing about it, in a sense, was that I realised before that no one, all the other actors had never been asked to leave. But I knew that now that was a possibility. You know, that it wasn't so much in your hands when you wanted to leave or not. And so I had, because of his suffering, it doesn't make it so hard. It was happening now. I just shrug my shoulders and think, that's all right, you know what I mean? Part of it. And taking over from him was a bit difficult. Because... Oh no, there was no bad feeling towards me whatsoever. And in acting, I mean, this happens a lot in acting where people do take over from people in shows. You know, they might leave. I mean, the thing is that someone's got to take over. And also to keep it going. There was no bad feeling at all, no. Not at all, not even from Colin. I mean, I've met Colin since and we've chatted and all that. He's a nice man. And I'm sure he has no bad feeling. There's no reason why he should. I didn't sack him. It's not, I mean, Michael Grade isn't my dad. Or maybe he is. Sorry.
What made you change your mind going to acting instead of priesthood?
What made me change my mind going into acting instead of what?
Priesthood.
The priesthood. A lot of people say there's not much difference. There isn't really. You dress up in wonderful costumes. You stand on a stage. You rabbit away. Celibacy, that was the thing that I couldn't handle. Thank you. Talking about celibacy, yes, I want to worry about it.
Two questions. One is whether the BBC or any type of producer gets the show, will you take up a contract that's offered to you? And second question is, do you feel it's more important for an actor and actress to go to school and take classes and classes everywhere, or is it more important to start with
lots of questions. But they're very nicely put. Well, yes, I just suddenly realised I didn't really answer your question about the priesthood. Why did I give it up? Well, it was girls. No, you answered it. It was girls, really. That brought me down to you, really. Yeah. Well, if they ask me to do it, will I do it? I don't know. I'm going to wait until they ask me. Because those kind of questions are difficult to answer, really. Because I could say, yes, I want to do it, and then they won't ask me, and I'll feel very upset. And I feel ambivalent about it at the moment. You know, I think the fates are telling me it's time to move on to another job and do something else, and it's been great fun, and thank you. And but Doctor Who will always be part of me, and the conventions will always mean, you know, so I'll have fun. I'll still be very strongly connected with it. About becoming an actor, well, I became an actor by accident. I mean, and lots of people think what I do is an accident. But I was working in the box office in the theatre, and someone mistook me for an actor and offered me a job, and I said yes and took it. And that's how I became an actor. I was very lucky. Should you go to school? Well, because I never went to school, I have no experience of that. And I have met lots of British actors who have left drama school, and they spend about 5 years trying to forget all the rules that have been imposed on them before they can find freedom for their own acting. I think acting is a kind of a sense, something you can do or not do. I'm not sure if you can be taught how to act. I think you can be taught how not to bump into the furniture. And if you are a natural actor, you'll have an instinct to communicate with the person at the back. So that, you know, technique of voice projection. But then again, in America, you two tend to specialize in films, don't you? You're a film actor, you're a stage actor, and because of the nature of the whole business over here, it's very different from England. So I can only talk about England or the British perspective, really. I don't know. I mean, I understand that, you know, people go to class a lot, and that's very good because at least you're mixing with. It'd be very depressing if you're unemployed and you can't get a job. But at least if you go and mix with other actors, well, you're in that kind of community, and that helps. So it's a very difficult question to answer. I mean, I think if you can get a job in community theatre and all that stuff, I'd go straight for that, because that is acting. You're there, you're doing it, and you're learning. As each time you're on the stage, you learn more instinctively how to communicate with an audience, because that's it. You need an audience all the time. And the thing is, to make an audience, if it's theatre you want to do. Films and television, wow. You just got to be nice to a producer. Anyone who hasn't asked a question, up the back, sorry. Sorry, I can't hear you very well. Susan Foreman. Who's she? Oh, my granddaughter. It was 27 years ago. Oh, I see. Oh, yes. I had no idea. That's something the writers would have to come up with. Would I meet her? She'd be old now, wouldn't she? She'd be as old as me. She'd be as old as me, wouldn't she, my granddaughter? She might have regenerated. No, she's a time lady. No, she might. Oh, really? How did I get her? No, I don't want to lecture on how you do this kind of thing, but we do it differently in Gallifrey. It's much more fun. Yes, they've forgotten about that bit, haven't they? Doctor, you're supposed to never have any chips. Anyway, he keeps picking up these young girls and taking them off the telephone box. The console and pressing all those buttons and pretending you know what you're doing. So I think someone asked me a question, but I have the foggiest idea where I was now. It was up there, someone.
Since Gallifrey
think someone might come up with another door that they open into, you know, maybe this is what they're doing already. They're planning a way out of the 12, you know, with this new thing of perhaps the Doctor was, you know, something else other than a Time Lord. He might have founded the Time Lord Society. So maybe they're thinking up some other route. So they say, oh, we forgot! He's got 25 other lives. How much money are we making out of Doctor Who? Oh, we're making a lot. Okay, we'll give him another 25 lives. That's a good idea. They wrote in something for the Master. What did they write in for him? Yeah. Oh, I see. He was a 12, but he somehow... Did he acquire a new body, or is it just an old another body pretending to be the body he was?
His body, they gave him cycles.
Whose body's what body? That's his father's body. Listen, who's Nissen? Listen. Oh, that was Nissen, the guy who invented the hat. Nissen hat. No, anyway. Tom Baker's... I know all about Doctor Who. Was in fact playing the exact same character as the other actor who died. Is that not the same? Yeah. But I'm really confused now. I don't know. I better sit down there. Can someone come up here and ask my questions? Right, up there. Right. I must point pretty odd because I keep doing that. Voices come up there.
If you leave Dr. Who and later on they want you to come back for an anniversary show, would you go?
If I left Doctor Who and later on they wanted me to come back for an anniversary show, would I come back? Yes, yeah. Yes. No reason why I shouldn't really. Have a good time. And,
what was it like working with such Doctor Who legends as Nicholas Courtney and Anthony Amy, who were doing the show a lot longer than you?
yeah. Well, it was quite good really. They said, come on young boy, you just stand there and do this. What was it like working with Anthony Amy and Nick? Well, Nicholas Courtney, when I was, you know, what a Doctor Who fan, still am really, except when I come on. When I was a Doctor Who fan, I used to love him. I loved his character, the Brigadier. So it was a great joy to work with him. I didn't remember so much about the Master. I'm sure he must have been around in those days when he arrived, but he was in more poetry area, wasn't he? Yeah. So, but I mean, it was interesting. I mean, Anthony Amy was a lovely man, and he comes from a great theatrical background. His father was one of the great actors of Britain at his time. So it was, you know, for that reason it was wonderful. It was good fun. But I didn't think, it was rather nice. When I was working with him, I kept thinking, especially Anthony, because Anthony's got this kind of way of talking, you know, and it kind of moves like, and I thought, maybe this is a Time Lord thing. So when Time Lords are together, they kind of act the same. So I tried to copy him when I was talking to him. Just as a little thing is, you know, this is how Time Lords communicate. But then when you go to communicate with someone else, it's different. When they get together, it's like that. So I was watching him. He didn't know. I hope he didn't know I was watching him playing that kind of game. Yes?
It seems like it was this time around about the costume. Was it Nathan Turner? And did he happen to suggest something possibly with a Hawaiian shirt?
Whose idea was it, the costume this time around? Was it Nathan Turner and his Hawaiian shirt? Well, I haven't got a Hawaiian shirt, but I seem to have I have a Hawaiian pullover, kind of lots of waves up and down. The costume basically came from a mixture of the designer, myself, and John JNT. JNT was very keen on the pullover, the question mark pullover. I wanted the baggy jacket, the kind of with big pockets, and the hat, and the umbrella. They were my kind of input. And the colour scheme. I wanted it light, but then when I saw it on television, on the video lightened it too much, and I thought, well, it should be darker. And so for the next season, I kept saying, could I have a darker one? And it took them a season before they gave me a darker jacket, which I think is much better. It also goes with the darker side of this Doctor Who. Can I point to a scene where it gets close to the danger of the Doctor? I don't know really. I think that in Ghostlight, there was bits of it there where I felt very happy with with what was happening, the mystery that he was creating and somehow part of. But there were bits all over, really, even in, I've forgotten all the names of the various things I did, because we did them all in one mad 5 months. I find it, I think it's somewhere in Ghostlight, if I remember rightly. Yes? Oh, I know who Anna Barbera is. She does all these cartoons, don't they? They're taking cartoons and turn them from an art form into a load of... This is what they will be doing, and you've heard earlier this week. Well, yeah. Well, I'd be surprised. I mean, if they have, well... I heard the Terry Nation was mixed up with them. You see, it's all rumour. I mean, I don't believe any of it until, in fact, I'm actually told by somebody. I mean, I've heard lots of rumours like that. But I mean, that means if they do that, the way they make their cartoons, Doctor Who will have to kind of walk like that, won't they? Really boring. Make a dreadful cartoon. That's my job as Doctor Who comes. They've taken over. Yes. Oh, I know. Well, it's called this English humour. Or Irish humour, or maybe it's not humorous at all. Anyone up there? Yes. Wow, there's a guy up here got a really good idea. That we all get together and buy Doctor Who. Is that what you're saying, basically? Well, I mean, that sounds a wonderful idea. I mean, I couldn't organise that. I know nothing about money. I mean, I'm just... but it sounds a wonderful idea. I mean, I remember doing at one point, talking to GNT about that. That was doing something. But, I mean, I just haven't got that kind of brain, get into that kind of world. But will I do it if it becomes independent? Well, if they ask me and I'm in the mood, I might. I can see it would most likely be rather good for it. Perhaps. Or maybe not. I've no idea, really. We'll have to wait. It's always difficult to foretell the future. There's a lady out there with tarot cards. I might go and chat to her. She might know more about it. Yes? Yes, why doesn't the BBC repeat Doctor Who a lot? Well, partly it's to do with Equity, the Actors Union, who have made an agreement with the BBC that they're only allowed to repeat 26 programmes after a 2-year gap. I mean, you're allowed to repeat once in 2 years a series if you want to in the BBC. And you pay the actors 80% of their fee for doing that, all those involved, which isn't that expensive for a programme, I suppose. Then afterwards, you're only allowed to repeat 56 programmes outside that period, and therefore that cuts down lots of programmes. So basically, that's the reason. Now, they've come to an agreement recently, because we're getting satellite television and all that coming into the country, and one of the satellite companies, BSB, have bought all 26 years of Doctor Who, and they've made an agreement with Equity. They'll allow them to repeat it again and again and again. There's also a rumour going around that Michael Gray, who now runs Channel 4, tried to buy 26 years of Doctor Who. Yes, this is a rumour, and I wouldn't be at all surprised, because it'd be a very good thing for him to have on his channel. But maybe he just wanted to buy it and burn it. I don't know. Which of the Doctor's villains is my favourite? I don't know, really. I find that a difficult one. I suppose Anthony Ainley was pretty villainous. He owes me for a round of drinks. No, not really, that's a joke. Would you believe? I don't know. I mean, I could just pick a name out of the air. They're all different and interesting, really. But which is yours? The guys, I quite enjoyed working with them. I thought they were good fun. There was the ones I was lucky enough to meet the ones that, or unlucky enough to meet the ones that could climb upstairs. I used to wonder before that how they managed to conquer anything. Because, I mean, how do they, all you do is build some stairs and, that's them. Completely flummoxed. So it was good fun to be part of that. Also, those Daleks, how they work, this chap inside on a little seat, and little wheels. And they have to have a very smooth surface, because otherwise they fall over. The ones we had, they invented new wheels, big round ones. Have you got wheelbarrows that have got kind of big round orange balls things? I think they're kind of like footballs or something like that. Well, that's what they had, so they gave them 3 of those, so they wobbled a bit. And then when they fell over, you found out Daleks had 3 balls instead of only, I don't know how many they had. It was quite interesting to find out how they were made inside. Yes. Which companion is my favourite? Well, Sophie, I should imagine. Because I've been with Sophie longest, and she's bigger than I am, and she beats me up if I said anything else. No, Sophie and I are great mates. I mean, I like Bonnie as well, because I worked with Bonnie, who was Mel. We worked together. But you might be talking about the other companions as well. Leela, I think, would be really. Costumes are cheaper. Yeah, the costumes are she almost wore. Yes, the gentleman in the dark glasses. Any Doctor Who is my favourite. What, from all the Doctors? Anyone that's my favourite from all the Doctors? I think it'd have to be a Patrick Troughton one. Because, I mean, as I say, you know more about Doctor Who in America than we do, because we never see it. You see, I have only vague memories of Patrick Troughton years ago, and I remember historical ones, which I thought were great, but I can't give you a name. I mean, there's John Pertwee ones and Tom Baker ones as well, but I can't remember them very well. I mean, I could, I suppose, go into the office at the BBC and try and watch all the years, but then I wouldn't be able to learn the lines and try not to bump into the monsters, and I wouldn't be able to do the job. Catch up. Yes.
Which of your previous acting experience do you find has helped you in Doctor Who?
Which of my previous acting experience has helped me in Doctor Who? All of them, really. I suppose they're all part of it. Because Doctor Who is such a, it's a great television role to play, because you can do anything with it. It can be comic and, and angry and things like that. So you call upon them all. I think one of the characters I think that might be near like him in a sense was I played Azdag in the Caucasian Chalk Circle, Brecht's play, which is a great character. He was a man who helped, was brilliant taking on the establishment and winning. But I mean, I suppose that's it really. Azdag. Yes. What are the other actors or the other Doctor Who's doing at the moment? Well, Peter Davison is doing a lot of television. I mean, he's gone on and on and on from strength to strength, playing many other roles very successfully in television. In fact, he came over here and did an LA Law, I think, as well, I believe. Or something like that, didn't he? Magnus what? Magnum PI. Oh, I never heard of that one. But he came and did that one as well. We haven't had that in Britain. Colin Baker has gone on doing lots and lots of theatre work, continuously working in theatre, and been very successful at it. John Pertwee, he made a big success out of a character called Wurzel Gummidge, and that's gone on for a long, long time. They've all carried on working. Tom Baker works away. They all work quite well afterwards. So there's life after Who, for the actors anyway. Yes. Oh, my Picasso tie, yes, it's rather nice. Well, I had it hanging on the wall. Not many people see this. I'd like to show this off to people, so I put it down and cut it up and split it a tire. Cassie doesn't mind. Yes, the gentleman with lots of scarves. Lots of scarves. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Have a lot of fun. Later on the set, a lot of fun. Practical jokes, pranks.
Yes.
Sort of thing.
What was that last bit? Oh, Trout Ness. Yeah, because Patrick was like that, wasn't he? Yeah. Yes, I really am sad I never met Patrick Trout. John Pertwee was a great mate of his, and I've become very friendly with John. And he keeps, kind of, I think he thinks I'm another little Patrick Trout, which is very flattering. But we have a good fun, yes, a lot of laughs. I mean, all the jobs I do, I try to have fun, because it's a very, very intense pressure on it. And if you do it, if you ever was around being serious, this is like, serious. It's really boring, because you've got to be light, fun. You can be serious in the park, but not outside it. Anyway.
You said how you tried to bring the dark side back to Doctor Who. How much of that is you? Is there a dark side to Sylvester McCoy that we're not seeing?
Well, I suppose so. I mean, the thing is about most people, I think, have dark sides. If comedy is, in a sense, I think, I do a lot of comedy. And any comic has got a bit of dark side, yes. So it is there, yes. And there is an anger. I'm angry. Most comics are angry at the world. And I get angry at the injustices in the world, very angry. I'm very frustrated because I can't do anything about them much, except, sound off about them. Do you know what I mean? So yes, I think, and that's why, those are the areas that I see in Doctor Who that I want to exploit. Him, battling against the establishment and the people who make all the rules, then they break them, and all that stuff. Justice. So it's rather nice to be able to play that role. But, yes, away at the back.
Do you ever have like a case of the giggle, when you just crack up?
Yeah, corpsing, it's called in Britain, with corpse. Yes, lots of times. Lots of times you're going to, hi, my name's Dr. Things like happen, all sorts of silly things happen and we laugh a lot. I'm afraid that happens a lot. When the first time I did it with Kate O'Mara of the dysentery fame. Wasn't she dysentery, or was it? Dynasty, sorry. Or Dynasty. Dynasty? No, yes. Well, she and I laughed so much. It was very difficult to get the show on the road. Have I any ambitions outside of acting? I'd like to sail around the world, I think, in New York. It was a jet plane. I mean, I don't want to be competitive or it was a float around the world, have a look at it from a yacht. That's what I like.
What did you think of the character? I thought it was a little overplayed.
The Candyman, yes. What did I think? Well, I thought it was good. I liked the idea, what they were trying to do with it. Because what they were trying to do, like, the Candyman is like Basset Man, which is a famous character, I don't know if you've got it over here, but in Britain it's Basset Man. And in that season, what they were trying to do was pick out things that children thought were safe, you know what I mean, and turn them into something that wasn't. Make a nightmare out of them, you know what I mean? And I quite like what they were trying to do, but I don't think it succeeded. I mean, it was lots of reasons. I think the voice was too soft, and lots of many other things, and I think, but I liked what they were doing, but it didn't really succeed very well, but it's all right. I mean, it was a great costume piece. I mean, to see it was wonderful. The BBC costume department did a wonderful job of it. It was great. Hello, there's someone up there. Hi. What am I working on now? I'm working on lunch. What am I working on now? I'm going back to do a play by the president of Czechoslovakia, Pavel. I'm going to do a play about this in the West End. It's called Temptation. It's based on Faust, and I play the devil in it. That should be fun. But that's what I start next for 6 months. I've got to work the back sometime. Yes. Yes, the quality. It is a worry that perhaps if it becomes too commercial, they might go for much more obvious, easy ways of attracting people and then losing its. Yes, there is that possibility, but I don't. They might get a bigger budget, and that would be good, but then they might go much more commercial, and that would be bad. They might get a balance. But I mean, I still don't believe. Maybe it has gone to Hannah Barbara. Maybe, I don't know. That lovely lady. But I better be nice to her. She might give me a job. But it is a worry.
Have you seen much of our American science fiction TV? And what do you think of it? How do you compare it?
Have I seen much American science fiction TV, and how do I compare it? Well, yes, I saw, Star Trek. I'm a great fan of Star Trek, especially when it was shown on British television. We have other ones. Some of them are a bit, very, they seem to lack imagination, but they've got great effects. I can't remember the names now because I've forgotten them. But some of them are great. But Star Trek, I was a great fan of. In fact, I was a great fan of one of the rocks in Star Trek. Because I used to appear in every planet they ever landed on. I remember. I used to write to it regularly. I was going to start a fan club for that rock. Do you know the one I mean? It's always there. They painted blue and it was pink and it was there. Oh, there it is. There's that rock again. My favourite rock. I can't remember all the names. I know that some more are coming into Britain now. The Invisible Man, but we had that first, and then The Invisible Man. Is that science fiction? I suppose it is in a way. But it's not quite. There's some others. I can't remember. You'd have to bring names at me and I say, oh yes, I remember that one. And then yes, at the back. Have this alienation in the back. No, we haven't had that one. Is that a good one? What about the new one, Star Trek: The Next Generation? We were getting it in September. This September, I believe, we're getting it in Britain, so we'll be able to see that. Look forward to that. But there must be many, many others.